Hi everyone. Well, today is supposed to be the day 5 of my sewing challenge, and to be honest, it has only been a hell of an experience because I actually had to push myself. I had to meet up to targets. I had to learn and be consistent in my learning because I knew at the back of my mind I had to post update on my learning activities. So actually starting this challenge has really been helpful for me. It has actually made me to be accountable to my learning process. For me, okay, let me say I'm trying to give it this is actually a review of how far I've learned so far. So for day 2, I was able to learn how to make a straight stitch, how to actually thread a sewing machine. Well, my sewing machine is electric, as I've told you guys, and I have to make use of it only when there's light. So it was actually a bit of challenging for me. So I had to wait until there was light before I could actually make use of it. Thankfully, the light stayed up to like 1 2 hours, so I was able to practice my straight stitch. And I was also actually had to learn how to make buttonholes, how to make how to fix a button on a fabric. How fixing the button on the fabric was actually easy and straightforward. Making the buttonhole was where the challenges because making the buttonhole with a hand needle was actually more easy compared to making a buttonhole using my sewing machine, my electric sewing machine. And then the tutorials I actually watched online how to make a buttonhole using an electric machine was actually looking very really simple until I tried it out. And I actually fix the needle is fix the thread in the needle is actually very easy. So I have my thread, I have my button that I'm going to be using. Well, this button has if you notice the button usually have four holes. Four holes. So what you do is that you just pass your needle through the hole. You place the button on the fabric. First of all, you place it on the fabric. If this is your fabric, place it on the fabric. Then you just sew through the hole. All the sewing should be on the hole, and you place the button on the right side of the fabric. But your sewing will start from the other side of the fabric. You pass your needle through, so you just be sewing it through the hole of the fabric. As you guys can see, you just sew through. Make sure that it actually passes through the whole of the bottle. I think this is very. So I'm done sewing the button on the buttonhole. So as you guys see, it's a little bit tight. You check it if it's tight or it's going to stay. If it's not, you can actually sew it out again. So the I'm going to be creating the hole for this fabric. Remember that we're going to be creating a button hole and the button. So I fixed the button. So what we're going to do is that the other side, remember, is going to be like this one. One part for the button hole, one part for the buttons. And the button hole usually overlaps the buttons. So for this other part, so this is how the fabric is. This is the fabric. This is where we place our button hole. So the button sorry, this is how we place our button. So the button will overlap it like this. So definitely we're going to be fixing our buttonholes on this part. So I'm just going to measure the length of the buttons from the one edge to the other edge. You measure the length of the button so that it will not fall off. It will stay when you put your button. So I'm just going to take my tape, measure the button to determine the size of the buttonhole. Using my eraser. This is just for practical. I'll be using my eraser to make a hole here to signify the 1.5. So I've made the hole and as you can see we have I don't know if you can see this because I want it to be really, really clear. So this is the hole that we have. This is the hole here. This is the hole. Guys, see, this is my first attempt of making a button hole using my hand. I don't even know what to say, but at least I tried my best. But this is not neat enough. This is my first attempt of making a button hole. I think I can do better than this. As you can see, it's a little bit rough. So I'll show you guys me using a sewing machine. And let's see how it goes. Right now it's on 4 and 2. So let me show you how before and 2. That's if you did 4 and 2 for the middle part, right? Then let's switch to 3 and see what happens. Mm, Still the same thing. So let's switch to 1. Since I have stones. So this is my first attempt using the bottle maker using this electric sewing machine, and this is what I'm getting. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, but it's not just coming out, and it's also gathering at the down. It's not really giving the neat stuff that I really want. So this is option 1. So I think there's another option that I saw online, so I will try. The whole essence of making this challenge, the whole essence of learning is for me to learn from my mistake, because we actually learn every day. So I was not actually expecting whatever I do to be perfect, but it's for me to challenge myself and to be a better version of myself by learning how to sew, because it's been almost ages that I actually did all those stuff. But I've not actually tried how to make a buttonhole on my own, because most of the time the madam I actually learned from, she will actually take her fabric to people that actually make buttonholes, and then they will charge her at a fee. But I challenged myself to actually learn how to make it on my own using YouTube tutorial and tutorials online. So I actually tried my best, and it's actually fun because it was not looking perfect like it way it was. But I'll keep trying, and I also learned how to make a zipper. And to be honest, I couldn't really film everything because of the weather. At some particular days, I could not really film how it was actually looking like because of the rainy season, and I don't have a ring light. So that is a challenge right now. No ring light to film, no tripod to film. This is me just keeping my phone on a Gucci to actually film. So it's actually really affected me. So I was not wearing lights to actually film the video. So I was actually constrained. So I had to film the days that the rain was not falling and the weather was a bit clear. And today too, we thank God for the weather. And please, it's actually conducive for me to actually film this video. So I really hope that you guys stay tuned to all my sewing and filming process. And I sincerely apologize if the video quality is not up to standard or up to taste, but I have to make use of what I have at the moment. And I sincerely apologize if it's not up to your taste and it's not really giving you what you want. But this is me creating an accountability partner for me. That is